Hey guys, it's Benjamin with Benjamin's Exotics, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to properly and accurately sex southern toads. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to sex southern toads. Now, while this video is going to be specifically based around southern toads and identifying the sexual characteristics of this species, these same techniques can be used for a lot of different toad species like American toads, woodhouse toads, Gulf Coast toads, Great Plains toads, etc. Most of your kind of medium to large sized toad species. So right here I have two of the southern toads that we have in the collection here at Benjamin's Exotics. One is a male and one is a female. Now right off the bat, pretty obvious and a big thing is going to be the size difference. So this is a species that is sexually dimorphic, meaning that there is a very big size difference between the males and the females. So this is actually a female. This is a very excited pumpkin lip southern toad, and as you can see, pretty good sized female. This is maybe like a medium female. They can breed smaller than this and they can also get larger than this, but generally, like you can see, about the size, if not bigger, than the palm of my hand, and a pretty good looking southern toad at that. This is, if I didn't already mention, a pumpkin lip southern toad. We did another video on this morph a while back, but hopefully you guys are getting a pretty good scale comparison next to my hand of the size of a female. Okay, so that is a female southern toad, whereas the male is going to be a lot smaller. You have to keep in mind that the males don't need to hold or carry any eggs, and being bigger for them is just going to increase the chances that they get picked off by a predator or are negatively impacted by some sort of change in the environment. So this is, believe it or not, actually a breedable male southern toad. This is a smaller male. You certainly can get them bigger than this and they still will breed and they'll do fine, but generally in the wild, this is what you're looking for in a male. Like you can see, not nearly as big as the female, not even getting close to being the size of my palm. Still a good sized amphibian, but you know, next to that female, there's quite a big difference in size. Now obviously size is not everything in terms of, you don't know in the wild maybe if you're dealing with a small male. So obviously in order for this female to get to this size, it had to grow from a baby. So size is not really that accurate of an indicator unless you have a big honking female like this southern toad. So what are some other characteristics of a male and a female? Well, big thing that you can identify at a pretty young age, not necessarily as a toadlet, but certainly once these guys start getting the size of a dime, the size of a quarter, you can actually start to see the color change on the animal's underside of their chin. So if we look at the bottom right here, on basically the lower part of the jaw, the chin if you will, on this male southern toad, as you can see, it is pitch black. There's a very big change from the color on the belly to the color below the throat. Now, sometimes it isn't quite as pitch black as on this male. Certainly it can be more of a gray, even sometimes kind of a greenish kind of color, but generally as these animals start to get some more size on them, as they start to get bigger, you're going to see that color change on the chin. And if we actually take a look at the female southern toad's chin, as you can see, they're not going to have nearly as big of a difference, if I get the camera to focus, as the male. Like you can see on the male, really dark chin, big difference from the color of the throat to the color of the belly, whereas the female toad, whether it be, you know, a white belly or in this case it's actually like a yellow belly, it's going to be the exact same color from the belly to the chin. Another difference, and this is a very small thing that especially on southern toads it can be very hard to see, is actually the nuptial pads, if you will, on the thumbs essentially, on the hands of a male. This is so hard to see, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it in shot, but generally, do you see on the finger that is closest to my thumb, right here? So this finger right here, very hard to see, but it looks like it's a little bit thicker than the other fingers, and it has a bit of this kind of pad on the top and side of the toad's finger. I don't know how well it's going to come out in the camera. You can just barely see it right there above my thumb, but there is a little nuptial pad that basically, when it gets moist, it actually helps the male grasp the female when they start to go into breeding. It's, again, very hard to see, but it's just the littlest bump, kind of pad, on the top of the finger of this male southern toad. Now the last difference we're going to talk about is actually the ability for these guys to make noise when handled. So you have to keep in mind that when these southern toads are in the wild, they're not normally breeding one male to one female. What's going to happen is that there will be an environment they're in, like a sandy kind of pine forest, and a couple times per year they're going to experience very heavy rains and parts of the forest are going to flood. And when that happens, you're going to have potentially hundreds of females and certainly hundreds of males all together in the same spot breeding. And these guys are very, very motivated breeders. So when that does happen and there is a breeding site, a flood that exists for maybe a couple weeks where they can actually breed, they're not going to basically distinguish from a male or a female. So you actually have males trying to jump onto other males' backs. And when that happens, to tell the other male that, of course, the male that's being mounted isn't a female, they will make this little croaking sound, which I'm going to try to show on camera. It is pretty hard to get a really good sound out of these small male southern toads because they just don't have that big of a voice box, if that's the right word to use. It really isn't maybe the most accurate in terms of how the sound is actually produced. But if I hold this male behind its body, and I'm not hurting the animal, I'm just gently tapping on its back. I'm going to hold it away from my mic and see if you guys can hear it, and I'll shut up for a second, and then I'm going to bring it closer to the mic in case you can't. So here we go. I'm going to tap this guy on the back. You're going to see him kind of vibrate a little bit, and he should make this little kind of chirping sound that would tell other male southern toads that he is in fact a male and not a female. Okay, hopefully you could hear that. I don't know how well it might have come out on the camera, so I'm actually going to bring this male closer to my camera and do the exact same thing just off screen. Okay, so hopefully, ooh, that was perfect, right back into the container as a jump. So hopefully you guys are able to actually pick that up either in front of the camera or behind the camera, and this is something that you will never hear out of a female southern toad. Again, this is just kind of a call to tell other males that might accidentally mount this male that he is not a female. So hopefully you guys did enjoy and most importantly benefit from today's video. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to like this video, leave a comment down below, and of course subscribe. Thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.